the role of temples in the past. Now, of course, most of us know that temples have become a huge topic of discussion in recent times for all the wrong reasons. But today, let's focus on how temples were actually an institution of reform back in the day that elevated its community's economic as well as religious level. So welcome back to the podcast. You may have seen him on the Goodcast show last year talking about his book. He's an author, he's an educator, especially in the field of Hinduism. Please welcome Mr. Sundara Raj. How are you, sir?
Namaskaram. I'm very good, thank you. And thank you for having me.
No worries. And so this will be the first of many episodes that you're on. I'm grateful that you are willing to support this channel and be a part of its growth and all that.
Hopefully everything works out very well.
Yes, you very nice spiritual answer. Calm and collected.
It will.
Yeah. By the way, I remember when I was talking to you about when I was looking for funds for my studio, and you said the same thing. Don't worry, everything will work out as it should. Yeah, fantastic. So let's go to this topic, Guruji, which is temples.
Yeah.
So today, temples have been looked up in Malaysia nowadays. It's a lot of for all the wrong reasons, as I said.
Yes.
But what was the significance of the temple institution before?
Okay. This is a vast topic, and we will keep it as summarized as possible and to allow people to understand it in an easy manner. Hindu temples.
Yes.
Is, first of all, we must understand that Hinduism is the longest surviving civilization in the world. So if we compare with the Aztecs, Mayans, Sumerians, Egyptians, and many of the other indigenous cultures, they have been wiped out because there have been a lot of invasions and country they take over and everything. But Hindus in India, they have fought battles for thousands of years to keep their cultural integrity intact, and also their way of life and their temples, and also all their religious studies. Okay, so temple played many roles. Of course, everybody knows it as a religious institution and a religious body. Now, before we go into the topic in detail, let me give a brief explanation of what a temple is. Okay? When we go to a temple, the outer walls normally, they have a lot of statues, and there are a lot of drawings even today in old temples and new temples in India, all over the world, in Angkor Wat, everywhere. Okay? The outer walls of the temple, they talk about the social life of the Hindus. So they have also stories from the Ramayana, Mahabharata, the king stories, the queen stories, the normal layman stories. It's about the society and the social life of the Hindus. But the moment we take our foot and step inside, okay, the first part of the temple is known as a Gopuram. Okay, Gopuram is the feet of the Deva or Devi of the temple, because a temple has been built where when you're going in, it's the feet of the Devata or Devi, and the Deva or Devi is lying down.
Just one thing, because previously people used to say that the temple was shaped as a human body, but you are saying that the temple is shaped by based on the main Devi or Deva of the temple,
which all corresponds together because its microcosm and macrocosm are the same. I'll explain to you. Okay. The temple is shaped as the energy, Shakti body of a Devata Devi. So the Gopuram there's a high raised steps when you go in, and normally people will put their hands there and offer namaskaram there and cross over it. They won't step on it normally. Okay, that is the feet. And then the first thing that you encounter in the temple when you go in, it's called a Kodimaram or a Dwajastam, which is a flagpole, the tall structure in the beginning of the temple.
Where you will find a Nandi and all that there, is it?
Okay, that's why I'm coming one by one.
Okay.
The flagpole, the whole thing corresponds to a Deva, Devi or ourselves, our body, the subtle energy body lying down with the head where the main altar is, the head will be a little bit raised up. Okay. So after the feet Gopuram, we are inside it, and that's the Kodimaram flagpole or Dwajastam. Going upwards, okay, where they say Prajapati resides, when you go upwards, it allows life to take place, life to form. Okay. And this also corresponds to our, in Hinduism, they say we have 7 chakras in our body, right? So the Dwajastam, Stambhana Sakti means stopping or curtailing it. So in the flagpole, Dwajastham, the Muladhara Chakra and the Swadhisthana Chakra is consecrated such to stop our desires from coming up. It curtails our desires when we go to a temple. Then it allows, once we stop thinking, because when it stops our desires, we stop thinking, it allows us to engage with the main Murti. You see, temple is not consecrated in one way and finish. At each step of the consecration, there are a lot of prayers done to give life to it.
Just one thing for the sake of people who may be watching this who are not Hindu. So when you say Murti, what do you mean?
Okay. Murti is now when a sculptor takes a stone and then he sculpts it and makes it a statue. Okay. Now, statue is a rock. Okay. But when we do the statue of Deva or Devi, Bhagavan, and we take it to the temple, there is an elaborate ceremony. Okay, they call it the Prana Pratishta ceremony, where they infuse prana into the statue and it becomes a murti. That means they give life to the statue.
The consciousness.
Consciousness. That's why it's called a murti, right? That is one. That is an elaborate ceremony. If I'm not wrong, it takes 48 days. After everything is done, they have to do the prayers for 48 days to infuse prana into it, to give consciousness to it. And then there's one more that they do, and they will open the eyes. That's separate, right? When the first time they open the eyes, they'll put a mirror in front. Many occasions, the energy is so strong, the mirror will crack. And only then after that is allowed for people to come and see.
So this applies to all the statues you see at temple, all the deities you see.
Actually main murti, and then the subordinates one, they will do, because the process is long.
Okay.
One by one they do. So after, when we are standing at the flagpole, our Muladhara Chakra and Swadhisthana Chakra are supposed to be suppressed so that our desires won't come out. We'll feel more divine in the temple. And normally when we pray in the temple, when we go to do a puja, we are standing there. If you notice, we don't stand very close to the murti. We are standing where the...
This is the point where the flagpole is.
Yes,
okay.
Over there. They stand there. After the flagpole, the next one is called Balipidam.
Where is this?
Balipidam is behind the animal, this one. Flagpole, then a inverted flower.
Yes.
Right? That is your Manipura chakra, your navel chakra.
Okay.
That's where the Agni fire is. That's where they will put the prasadam and put flower and put the sandalwood and paste. Yes.
Why do they do that?
Feeding. Navel chakra, Agni will swallow everything.
Okay.
Right? What we eat also, our navel chakra, Agni, is the digestive power. Right? So in Balipidam, it's the navel chakra, it's Agni, digestive power. So the whatever prasadam they keep, they put there, and that's why it's digested. So that's the symbolic prayer for that. The next one after the Balipidam is the Vahana, the animal. Okay. In Shivan temple, the Vahana will be Nandi. Okay. In Durga temple, it will be a lion. In Muruga temple, it will be a peacock. Okay. In Vinayagar temple, it will be a Moshika. Okay. And like that, they have Vishnu temple, Garuda and all that. The Vahana corresponds to our Atma. Okay, we are coming up. The chakras are coming up. Muladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura navel. Anahata is here. Anahata chakra is our solar plexus. Corresponds to the Vahana, where our Atma is recognized. And then we have, the main temple inside where the Murti is, right? And there's a neck, there's a small door. Everybody will say, why is so small? Why can't they do it bigger? Right? But it's small. So that is Visuddha chakra. Visuddhi chakra, sorry. This part. Okay. And then the Murti where it's placed is our Anya chakra. That's where we put the bindi and all that. Okay. On top of that is they call the Vimanam. The top part of the temple, Vimanam, and the topmost part is called a Shikara. Shikara corresponds to our here. That's why the priests normally they'll have a, they'll tie and they'll have and they'll shave everything. They'll just have a long ponytail here. That's Shikara.
What is the significance of that?
Okay. Microcosm. Okay. In Hinduism, we have the microcosm. Okay. And the macrocosm is the universe. Okay. And also the temple. Okay. The Deva's body, Devi's body corresponds. We are the image of our maker. corresponds to us also.
Which is also something they say in Christianity as well.
Of
God
course.
made us in his image.
Yeah. We are the image of the maker. So, whatever the temple is divine. Our body also is divine. So, the way the temple is built, because they understood, they don't talk about the body, they understood the energies behind the body. Okay. They say we have five bodies, right? So, they will say the stula body, which is the physical body, Annamaya Kosha, Annamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha is our mind body, Pranamaya Kosha, prana body, Shaktimaya Kosha, and Vijnanamaya Kosha, Shaktimaya Kosha. So it's our ethereal body, subtle body. I might have said it wrongly, but the sequence is there.
Okay.
So it goes in at layers and layers and layers. So the temple is built according to this inner layer. And the energy is consecrated in all these things. And then when we stand by the Vahana and all, that's where everybody stands. And then you see, number one, everybody can pray. Okay. You can pray here, you can pray in the temple, you can pray in the aeroplane, anywhere you can pray. It's very personal. Number two, we don't worship in the temple. Worship means there's a play of words. Okay, these are all English words, so it's very difficult for people to understand. And we always translate to English and say this is the same. It's not the same. So prayer is very personal. We can pray anywhere. Worship is when you are looking up to somebody and you're worshiping them as a savior. Okay? So that word also doesn't come for Hindus. For Hindus, the right word is puja. Okay? Puja can't be translated to pray and worship. Why I say that is that when we are in a temple, we have a pandit. Okay, people say priest is different, pandit is different, purohit, who does the puja. And the puja is based on the 5 Panchabhutas: Akasha, Vayu, Agni, Ap, and Prithvi. That means the ether, the wind, the fire, water, and earth.
Which are our 5 key elements.
Key elements that the whole universe is made up and our body is made up.
Okay.
Okay, in different degrees, they as like a chemical or whatever we call energy, it makes up our body and all life things and non-life things in the universe. So that elements must be there, and they use it in the temple and do the puja, not worship, puja, by giving things to the deity to please the deity in order for the deity to give us their asirvadam. Okay, it's a different process. What people who are not Hindus, who are not have studied this way things are done, they will not understand. That's why a lot of people equate that. They think across the board all religions are praying the same way. It's not. Ours is very technical, okay, and very deep and technical, where the elements are involved, and we are doing this to the puja to the murti to get their blessings.
Okay.
Okay. On top of that, on the Vimana Shikara, the top part, they'll have the pots. They call it the kalasam. Okay. They'll have 5, 7, 9. Bigger temples will have 9. This kalasam is normally made either gold, silver, brass, rarely copper. They used to do copper. Okay. And also the beginning flagpole, I forgot, I'll just say that. Flagpole originally was in wood, stone, and then also metal they do.
Does the material matter?
Why they do the flagpole, it matters. Why they do the flagpole so high is that it normally will be as high as the Vimanam, Chikara. Because, and then if it's made from wood or stone and not metal, they will have a covering layered on top of it from top to bottom, either silver or copper. Because this is lightning arrestor from those days.
Okay.
So when they did a wooden flagpole or stone flagpole, so it can't take lightning. So they'll inlay on top of it full of copper or silver to conduct the lightning down to earth, so it does not go and hit the main Vimana.
And also the surrounding community.
Yes.
I think it has a 150 meter radius, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Something like that. I can't remember.
Something like that. It has a coverage because this is the tallest point in any given village or city.
Yeah.
Right? We are talking BC. Okay? AD, early AD. When I talk about temples, I don't think now. I talk about before.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the significance of this flagpole. And on top of the Vimana, they'll have the Kalasham. Okay,
What is the Kalasham?
Kalasham is the pots.
Pots, okay.
Where they do when you're consecrating a temple, you will do the Kumbhavishagam, they call it. Every 12 years now, they do it in Malaysia and many places. In the pot, they store important native seeds. All the pots got native seeds inside them. Okay, so because it's in the pot and it's on top, the seeds last minimum 12 years. Why they do this is because according to Hindu astrology and astronomy, geography, whatever you want to say, flooding will take place. Mega flooding will take place every few hundred years. It happened before. Okay?
This is like the story of Noah's Ark and all these type of things.
100%.
Okay.
100%. It's happened in Bharat or any part of the world before. Massive flooding where everything gets destroyed, and when underwater, all the seeds can't be used anymore. So after the flood, they will take out the seeds and replant again. This is from experience they're doing it. Okay, learned experience. That's why they have seeds, indigenous seeds inside the Kalasam. All the temples in Bharat and I think Malaysia. It's the technical procedure to do the Kumbhavishagam is by putting the seeds inside.
When you say Kumbhavishagam is a ceremony where they pour the milk on the top, they pour, which I've seen, especially for new temples and all.
Every 12 years, they will repaint, they will repair the murtis. They will
so the 12-year cycle is to replace the seeds.
Also.
I'm saying this because in the past, I always thought the 12 years is just something they do to just renovate the temple. It had no significance. But what you're talking about seems to have a significance, a very strong importance.
Okay. Our temples were not built randomly. Okay, there is a calculation to even the steps, even the distance of the murti, the vahana, everything, and the roof. A lot of mathematics involved in it, a lot of astronomy involved in it, because we have to make sure it's east, it's west, it's north, it's south, right? And then the stars, the days, whatever days are there. We have the no moon day, we have the full moon day, we have the 15 waxing day and 15 waning day. Everything in the calendar. It's a vast subject because, certain communities in the world, they follow the moon calendar till today. Okay, the West follows the Gregorian calendar, sun calendar. Only Hindus have the moon and sun calendar combined together. Okay, in sun and moon together. So a lot of people don't know this difference. So every day the Tithi, they call it, the Tithi, the date and day, there's a significance for different murtis, different temple festival or whatever they are doing. So it's all calculated in together. It's a big mesh. When you unravel it, you have to study astronomy, astrology, mathematics, architecture, sculpturing, Sulba Shastra. Shilpa Shastra and Sulba Shastra is on the sculpturing of the murti. They study that. It's an education apprenticeship program on its own.
Wow. But I want to get back to, of course, there are religious aspects of this, which we'll definitely touch, I think, next episodes. But let's talk about the temple's significance from a socio-economic standpoint.
Okay.
How important or how significant, what was a role that a temple played back then?
Okay. It's too beautiful. I love this question.
Please.
Okay. Now we understand the temple structure and everything regarding it. Okay. Number one, temple is a religious spiritual place for Hindus. Number one. Even today, all over the world, even in Malaysia.
Before you go on, just one question I have. Because in my experience in Nepal, and even in India, some places in India, they don't allow non-Hindus to enter a temple.
Yeah.
Okay, which in Malaysia, I don't think that exists because I've seen they allow anyone to enter. Is that right or wrong based on ancient standards?
Okay. Based on ancient standards, before the invasion, right. Everybody can come. Before the invasion.
Okay.
And
this invasion is? Which
the Mughal invasion.
Okay, the Mughal invasion of India.
Mughal invasion and then the West European colonization period. Before that is right. Because they allowed everybody to come. But India has gone through a lot of pain. right? The temple has been destroyed many times. And then there's they allowed a lot of tourists. This happened recently in the last maybe 30 years. There's a very old temple town like Kanjipuram in South India. There's one in Karnataka below Goa. It's called Gokarna. Okay, Gokarna. Gokarna is a 2,500-year-old temple town. Existed from that time till now. No changes. Okay, the temple and everything is the same. So they don't allow tourists inside. Number one, many a times the tourists who come there, they were drunk, right? Or they were high on something else. So they had a lot of problems, social problems when they come there. They don't know how to behave. They don't know how to do this. Not everyone is genuinely come to inside the temple to inquire and find out about the religious side of it. Some are just coming for taking photos, and I've been there. Okay. So that's why they banned. When I spoke to the temple committee there, because I was with an American friend and they didn't allow him. So on behalf of him, I went and spoke to them and they said, sorry, across the board in Gokarna, they cannot go to any temple because we have had very bad experiences with them. And also sometimes they don't shower. We think everybody showers. Don't think like that.
Personal hygiene is not
Okay.
Okay, so then let's get back to this then. So
Okay.
you're talking about the socioeconomic importance
So
of a temple.
first thing, it's a religious spiritual place. Number one. Number two, those days, temple was a Gurukulam, school.
Okay.
Okay. So after prayers and all on the side, because normally it's good weather, under the tree, they will teach children. Temple was a Gurukulam. Then just now we spoke about it being the depository for seeds. All right. On top of that, it is a cultural, festival, social place. Right. We have ear piercing ceremony. We do it in the temple. We have engagement ceremony. We do it in the temple. We have marriages. We do it in the temple. Right? We have a dance program, singing program. All we do it in the temple. Of course, it's more devotional and all that. Only the temple provided the place free of charge for all these things to happen, because the kings and queens were the patrons of the temple, and they gave the people who were involved in the temple all that is necessary for them to live their life. Because a living example is the Bharatanatyam school in Tanjore, right? The king started it, gave them a place, and gave them enough money, food, everything is given to them, even yoga teachers, all, because they wanted the society to be healthy. It's a very high evolved society. Apart from earning your money and eating and sleeping, they also pursued the arts. Okay, that Bharatanatyam school that was started by the king is still operating in Tanjore.
Wow.
It's more than 400 over years old. The same spot. So that's how important the temple and the vicinity was. And we were saying that Gurukulam and all that. Temple also was the place for the panchayat.
What is panchayat?
Panchayat is the council of 5 elders. Pancha 5, council of 5 elders who ruled, gave judgments. They were judges for the local community. So any conflict or
So
problem,
like the local court system, if you
local
will.
court system,
Okay.
which existed for thousands of years in India. Okay, so they were the king or queen of the day. They were under them, and they issued all the ruling for locally to solve all their problem. The panchayat was there. On top of that, the most important thing that the British destroyed, okay, I'll give you the evidence later, is the temple was the cooperative bank, the world's first cooperative bank in the world.
Wow.
Temple. And this one, the evidence is in the culverts, culverts where in Tamil is kalvattu. Okay, it became in English culvert. It's a Tamil word. Kalvattu means the cuts in the rock.
Sorry. Okay. I thought culvert was
in English.
In English, okay.
It comes from the word kalvattu.
Okay.
Vattu means cut.
Inscriptions in the rock.
Yeah.
On the rock, sorry.
So cuts in the rock, the literal
Okay.
meaning. So in South India, there are more than 20,000 culverts till today. So it's written in the rocks. So the temple being a cooperative bank, right? In the culverts, there's testimony, written testimony saying that the committee borrowed money from the temple fund and gave the temple back a 12.5% interest.
Wow.
Right. So this is mind-boggling because it's hidden. Why it's hidden? I'll tell you why it's hidden. Okay. The first, see, across India, it's all Hindus. Okay, Buddhists, Hindus, Jains, Sikhs, all it's the same Sanatana Dharma group of people. Okay, they share the same. We can go to each other's temples, that's not a problem. Okay, the methods are very similar. The Bahmani Sultanate of the Deccan Plateau, I think Maharashtra south and north of Andhra, Karnataka, they were the first one to lay their hands. Before, when they attacked, the invaders attacked, the Mughals attacked, they destroyed the temples, took whatever wealth, loot from the temple, gold, silver, jewelry, all, they went back. They became rich. Okay. But when they started ruling, a lot of them after that thought, no, we attack and we won, now why don't we start ruling and perpetually take the income? So they took control of the funds and operations of the Tirupati temple. This is history. Okay. So they have put their hands into the temple coffers. Then that was late 16th century. That's when later the British took over. 17th century. When the British took over, this is where I found the records. It's written in the British records that in the beginning, in early 1800s, 1780 something to early 1800s, they took over the Tirupati temple. And every year in 17 something and 18 something, Tirupati temple gave them annually 25,000 pounds sterling profit. And they took the money to England. This is British records, nothing to do with me. When I stumbled upon it, I said, wow. 25,000 pounds sterling now is a lot of money.
Yeah, back then, God knows how much it would have been. Yeah.
It's like maybe 8 million a year,
Yeah,
there, or 10 million a year. So they did that. Then they had to stop because back in England, the church was involved with the government of the day. So they said, we cannot take, this is wrong. The East India Company should not take the pagan people's money or temple. They shouldn't be involved in it because this is against our religion. So they put a stop to it, right? But what the East India Company and later the British Raj did was to maneuver against the church. They didn't want to be on the bad books of the church. They transferred the temple to the state government. So South India temples were transferred to the Tamil Nadu government of that day, which was run by the British.
So
they
then
did it Andhra.
That money becomes state revenue.
State revenue.
Yeah.
Which till today in India is under the state.
Oh.
In India, till under the state. The people are fighting, but they are not giving it back to the people.
So that means Tirupati all is under the state.
State. They do anything with the money. They do anything with the money. They give the money. Only the temples, not the other religious institutions, are free in India. I don't know what's wrong in India, but it's free. You must be equal. If say their religious institutions are free, ours also should be free. But the Hindu temples are under the state, and they put their hands in the coffers, and they take the money and they do anything. The little trinkets of gold, big gold don't talk. The little trinkets of gold, when people's Hindus' prayers are fulfilled, when they go to a temple in India and they'll put the trinket into the donation box, right? Tamil Nadu government took it and they then had to, dilute it to make it into a bar. Then they can sell it or whatever. It's more than few thousand or few 100,000 kilos annually.
But is this documented?
It's documented.
Okay.
It's documented. You can Google and check with the Tamil Nadu, their expenditure from the temple, how much of gold they've taken, how much of ticket sales is there. And they take the money and they say in the name of the people, they are doing things for the people. Why the British did that was, now we have to understand the real story. Now, British came to trade in India, and then after some time they found that when British came, India's GDP was 25% of the world. 1/4 of the world economy was India. India had the largest agricultural land recorded in the world the Tanjore Basin is how many million hectares, I don't know. The largest agricultural land in the world was in South India, growing. They were agricultural, agrarian people, no? All this was destroyed by the British. By the time British left in 1947, India's economy, GDP was 2% of the world. So they went through 3 or 4 famines, and because all of it was siphoned off to England. Okay, that's another story. But why I'm saying this, the British, they are very cunning, the colonizers, the East India Company and all. They found out that the strength of the Hindu kings and the Hindu society, this whole social fabric, was because of the temples. Temple was a bank, cooperative bank, right?
Sorry, but what you're saying is blowing my mind because what we are taught is that the temple gave them a sort of, a lot of kings, especially in Southeast Asia, used to say that they are actually God kings. This God king thing they say. But now what you're saying is the true power of the kings did not come from above. It came from the temple that was because of it being a bank.
Again, the king is not powerful.
Yeah, it's from the temple.
I'll tell you who was powerful. Okay. They found out the source of power came from finance. Even modern times of those days,
finance, whoever
finance
holds,
is king.
Money
right?
talks, yeah.
So, in the BC, Sangam period, to 1st, 2nd century AD, up to 8 AD, up to Rajaraja Chola. Okay, everybody says Rajaraja Chola, he expanded to whole Southeast Asia, China, Malaysia, Indonesia, Vietnam, Cambodia, Singapore, everything. But to come with so many ships, to bring elephants, to bring cows, to bring horses, to bring whole cavalry in a large group of ships, takes money. So during those times, okay, in Tamil it's called Ainuruvar. In Telugu it's called Aihole. It's the same thing. In Kannada it's called Ayavole.
What is this?
Okay. Ainuruvar is a group of 500. Ainuru means 500, group of 500. Ayavole, Aya means sir, Lord. It's a respectful. When I say I call you Aya, I mean calling you with the utmost respect. So Ayavole is a group of Ayas, lords.
Okay.
So in English, the British translated it to the 500 lords.
Okay.
Okay. These 500 lords are actually the leaders of 500 jatis.
Jatis, huh?
Jatis are, for me, I'll say it's occupational trade group, merchant guild.
Okay.
But now they say jadi, the high caste, low caste.
Oh,
but
okay,
originally it was occupational group. Later it became low caste and high caste after the British meddled in. Okay? Okay, that's another story. I wrote a book on it. So
Okay, yeah.
that's another
We'll talk about
story.
it later in another episode. Yeah.
So these Ainuruvar were the backbone of the kings. Okay? The 500 jatis joined together, built temples, borrowed the money for the temple from the temples at various different interest rates. The highest one that they found was 12.5%.
That's actually very high.
Right? And then they build city-states. They build nagarams.
City-states.
Cities.
Wow, so the temples were that important.
Temples are the most important. They used to die for the temple. That's where the
Obviously, because it seems to be the seed of everything.
Money. So they build city-state. Madurai is a city-state. How old is it? Right?
I don't know.
Very old. It's BC.
Okay.
Madurai Nagaram is BC. It's in the Kannagi stories and a lot of old ancient stories.
Okay.
It's from Sangam period. Madurai was built by the Ainuruvar group, the 500 Jati group. So there was no high caste, low caste, no problem. 500 Jatis, even the group of people who dig the drains, dig the toilets, were part of them because they have to build the cities. They financed the kings. King was a warrior. He was not a financer. You must understand the difference.
He comes from the Kshatriya clan. La.
Kshatriya clan. Or any clan, but Kshatriya, brave people. They became king. They had a group. They were fighting.
Funny how things never change. Even today, it seems the businessman is funding the ruling class.
It's just, how can anybody deny this,
Yeah.
So the kings were there to protect the merchant class. The funders wanted the king to protect them. So any venture they did, they gave 12.5% back to the temple. They took the profits and they gave the king certain percentage. So king
This
was
is again
happy.
all documented.
All documented.
Oh, it's crazy, man.
All documented.
Okay, but this is all phenomenal. I think we have to separate to different episodes to go into. But
Okay.
let's go to this. Okay, in because I would like to know is, of course, we talk a lot about the finance aspect of it, how the temple facilitated the development of city states,
Yeah.
funded the kings, and all that kind of stuff, and also was a cooperative bank. But what about the socio-economic? Say, for example, like in today, what can a temple? What would a temple? I mean, what would have a temple done before to solve the problems we have as a community now?
Everything. The panchayat worked together with the temple. Whatever the local issues were solved locally. So you must understand, I'll give you a very simple.
So, in other words, the temple was like the capital.
Temple was the
like
center.
Center of the
king
universe.
was on the side in his palace.
Okay.
He also has to come to the temple. Right. That's why they have huge temples.
Oh.
Everything was there. Center. Because the panchayat, if somebody is, say they're doing a judgment, somebody is lying, they'll ask them to swear in front of the
Murti.
Murti. If they lie, then the consequence is yours and your family's. That's how much honor they had. So people won't be very afraid to lie in front of the Murti. They will say, okay, I'm guilty. And then they'll mete out punishment. There is another term in Tamil, it is also documented, it's called Kaval Karan. Kaval Karan means the security force or guards.
I guess that's where the term Kaval Devan comes also.
Kaval Devam, Kaval Karan, they pray to Kaval Devam, and so Kaval Karan. And this Kaval Karan is part of the king's entourage. During wartime, they work with the king, fight, war and all that. During peacetime, they go back to their own village, they guard the village. The whole village gives them place to stay, build a house for them. You know, those days there was no grand title, there was no separate numbers and all that. They just build a hut for them or a small house for them. And they made sure they gave them all the agricultural produce so they can live happily there. Why they do that? Because this Kavalkaran is a trained martial artist. So his job is to train the youths to protect the village from wild animals, from thieves, from invaders, whatever. So the concept of Hindus is totally different from the concept of the West. Okay? Kaval Karan or the security or the police, we call it police now, has to live with the community. So he will know who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. Before anything happens, so he can catch who's going to do the wrong thing. They live together. Right? British came and they destroyed the Kaval Karan system. They banned them and then they put them under the Criminal Tribes Act and made them the low caste because they don't want them to fight against them. These are brave people. So they outcasted them. And the British police system is they will transfer anybody from any part of the world and put there. And they don't know you. So everybody is a criminal. It is a harsh system. But this people's system was a very good system. Now, I'll give you one example. This is very important. I have to go through the notes I wrote. This socio-economic center of Hindus, okay, there is this great guy called Sandip Singh in India today. Okay, he wrote a book called Temple Economics. A temple in Karnataka, very old temple in Karnataka, South India. And under this temple, they call mutts. Mutts are spiritual learning centers, and it's free. Anybody can go and stay there. They'll give us food, and we can learn. We can learn the Vedas. We can learn whatever we want. We can stay there for 5 years, 10 years, no problem. It's free, and it's sponsored by the temple. In this one temple in Karnataka, under the mutt, okay, this mutt spiritual center, while teaching, it operates many other things. Okay, this temple mutt operates high schools.
How?
They fund it. They fund the whole building, land, building, teachers. They operate 79 schools in Karnataka.
This was back then, lah. Now.
From those days till now.
He still does that now. Okay.
Many in India. Okay, this temple mutt funds and operates high school, 79 schools. in Karnataka. Number one, that's number one. Number two, pre-university colleges, it runs 15.
What? Really? Okay.
Okay. This is number two only. Number three, vocational courses, it has 7. It's running. It's got premises, so it runs 7 different vocational courses. Okay. They call it, I don't know what, I haven't checked also. Number 4, they call it BIED or BIED colleges. They have 3. Okay. Number 5, degree colleges, they have 5. They run and operate 5. Number 6, another BIED college, they have 1. Then they have DBIED college, 1. Polytechnic, they have 1. Engineering college, they have 1. Okay.
All this is funded just by the temple.
Temple and the mud. Okay. Temple. Okay. But it's organized under the mud because it has to take a Sendrian Berhad and enterprise.
They have their ROS,
Temple can't do that.
Okay.
Okay. They are under trust. Okay. Number 10, Sanskrit and Ved Patashala. Sanskrit and Veda learning centers, they have 4. Nursery school, they have 11. It's not over yet. Primary school, they have 12. CBSE, Central Board Secondary Education, is a special, they have two boards. CBSE school, they have 2.
Curriculum there.
High schools, they have 2.
They have 2 high schools.
2 high schools. Hostels, they have 57 hostels.
For what?
In India, when you're out of town, you're working, and not from your village or from your small town, you come to city, in Chennai also, you can apply to that hostel that I want to live there. Men's hostel, women's hostel. They run 57. In Auroville also, Aurobindo, Pondicherry, they have their hostel for men and women. So these rooms are rented out to you as a very lower price. There are people who have stayed there their whole life. So if outside now, say Malaysia now, say you rent an apartment for 2,000 ringgit, they will rent a room for 400 ringgit. So a lot of people who don't want to rent a house, which is a waste of money, they will rent this kind of hostels run by, because they do it as a social enterprise, not as a profit oriented. The land belongs to them. They paid up the building, belongs to them. Sometimes it's through donations they build the hostels, right? For the benefit of the society. Then young women who want to study or work, they can stay there and go to college, go to work.
This is today.
This is today. Okay. Destitute homes for poor people, old people, orphanage, they have 8. Okay. Trading center, they have 1. This one I've seen in Auroville or this one.
What is a trading center do?
Whatever products they have, handicraft or whatever people can contribute for the destitute people
Okay.
they have a selling center. In Pondicherry, under Auroville, you can buy agarbatti, you can buy Ayurveda products, oil, everything. It's commercialized with nice packaging. You can buy books they produce. And also that money goes back to the organization to fund more things.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay, still not done. Okay.
Last one.
Okay.
Okay. They have religious centers. They have 11.
Okay.
Like much to teach all over. Roughly 117 establishments under one temple. Right? And this temple, most probably the state didn't touch the temple. Maybe it's under a trust or under a private temple. Okay. Now,
Wow.
if one temple allows for this many schools in one area or district, right? So the Mughal invaders broke the temples and stole the wealth. The British invaders kept the temples but took control by putting them under the state and exploited them. Okay. Kings were not the one controlling the temples, but the Ainurvar were controlling the temples. So how the British destroyed the group of 500 is by starting the jati problem. They made them fight against each other. That you are high class, you are low class,
so
I
we
give
fight.
you job, I don't give you job. Don't let them in and all that. The division was sought by the British, and the Hindus, many of them are continuing it, sad to say today. They what they say, they if you want to, a horse wants to pull a cart, it has to has the yoke. They broke the yoke so that the horse will be running wildly and the cart will be left so they can put their hands on the cart of gold. Okay? To to put the nail on the coffin, right? In Tamil, we say oru valli, rendu valli, moonu valli. Okay, it's not valli, it's velli. 1 silver, 2 silver, 3 silver. So up to the time of the British, even the Mughals, our money was silver, gold, silver, right? In 1861, British came out with the Currency Printing Act. So they printed paper, gave the Indians the paper and said, give me your gold and deposit in the bank. And they put it in the ship at the back and took it to England. That's where the currency started.
I wonder why they agreed to this.
Forced to.
They were not military.
They lost.
Okay, I'm assuming that they didn't have a substantial military might.
No, they had many kingdoms. Until the end, they were fighting. Okay, that's why India's civilization is still alive. If people say India lost and the Hindus lost and the British took over, they were powerful and all, that happened in South America, that happened in Mesopotamia, Sumeria, many parts of Africa, Australia and all that, New Zealand, Maoris, everything they happened, they subdued them totally. India, they kept on fighting until 1947, right? It never stopped. So they see, everybody will talk about the caste system, no? The Brahmins are number one. There's no such thing as Brahmin, it's Brahmana. Brahmin is the English word. Brahmana is a Sanskrit word. Then Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, right? Even today, they will say, oh, the Brahmins are persecuting the Dalits, the untouchables. Why don't they talk about the Kshatriyas? Right? Because they took all the Shastriyas, never succumbed to them. They always fought back with them. So they captured all of them, put them in camps and put them under the Criminal Tribes Act of 1871 and made them low caste to break their Kshatriya spirit. For 80 years, they were banned from working.
No, but just go back on this, the whole temple topic again. That means you're saying that this temple this one example, is it the only example or are there many other examples of these temples in India that seem to become more than just community centers? They are.
So what happened like in some states like Tamil Nadu and all, the state government knows if they let them use their money, they will do wonders for the people. So they put their hands in the treasury, they control it.
But do you see similar examples over here in Malaysia of temples?
Okay, very good question. Okay, I'm smiling because it's giving me bonus. I like when right questions come. Okay. Number one, we have understood through the records, with evidence, and one temple exam in the book Temple Economics by Sandeep Singh. Temple is a cooperative bank, cooperative body. Okay, who put all the temples in Malaysia under Persatuan? Who?
No idea.
I have no idea. From the beginning, because this is not part of the, the main religion of Malaysia. So the other religious bodies were all put under, they couldn't put it under trust, they couldn't put it under commercial, it's not commercial. So for convenience sake, they put it under Register of Societies under Persatuan. So because of Persatuan, you only need 7 people to be the board members, and then you can run the temple, organize and run the temple. Why can all the temples that are in the Persatuan body now convert and become cooperatives? That's my question to the Hindus in Malaysia. And I talked to Hindus in Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, US, and South Africa, many places. Okay, because the Hindu diaspora. Okay, if we have time, I'll just very short.
Please go ahead.
Hindu diaspora are people who were taken out of India or who went out of their own, and during the colonization period, they were taken as indentured workers with a promise of very good money and then a promise of land after their 3 to 5 years contract. They were promised land. But what the British did when they gave independence to all these countries, they gave some people land to stop the people from murdering them. Because if they cheated, people would have joined together. No? They were outnumbered. So they gave 1 or 2 and said, wait, we are drawing the lines and all that. Then they gave independence, they sold the estates, they ran away. This happened all over the world, even South Africa and all that. So the Hindu diaspora all over the world outside of India and outside of the Western countries. Because Western countries, they study, they earn, and they earn good money. Okay, in US, they earn eight times more than us. So they're all fine. But the normal countries like Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia,
The developing
Reunion
countries.
Island, okay, and then Trinidad, Tobago, Suriname, Guyana, South Africa, many other African countries, Ghana and all that. Only about 20% of them are economically well-to-do. Even here it's the same. Majority of them are poor. Okay, with their culture still intact, and this is
You're talking about the whole region and not just country.
whole world,
whole world.
Hindu
Okay.
diaspora
Okay.
outside of India,
More like third world, developing countries.
developing countries.
Okay.
All right, and they're all poor. Education is very bad, and all that. And this is because of a very simple reason. Okay, I've researched this a lot. Why? Why is the similarity that they all are poor? Whenever a minority community is inserted into a majority community, and the government of the day, okay, will have to take care the socio-economic education welfare of the majority community first because their numbers are bigger.
Okay.
It's a mathematical problem.
Yeah, of course.
It's a mathematical problem. It's not a racial problem per se, but it is racial also, but mathematical problem. So the minority is always neglected. In Australia, the Aborigines are neglected. In USA, the indigenous Native Americans are neglected.
The African Americans.
In every country is like that. Their minorities are always neglected. We, because of the British problem, colonization, we became minorities in a multitude of countries. And the problem with them is that the original socio-economic structure in India was destroyed by the British, and there's no copy-paste system here to go back to the original. So whatever the government of that day in that country gave them piecemeal, they adapted that and living within that ambit. That's their structure, a wrong structure. So my suggestion would be to all the Hindu diaspora in the world, outside who are having economic problem and all that, go back to the cooperative structure. Make the temple a cooperative body. Make 500 families around that temple to become your cooperative member. And then you see what happens economically to the people. 117 establishments under one temple. And then stop building small temples. Right? Build as big as Angkor Wat. Bigger temples. People say, what's the use of the temple? Bigger temples.
Basically, I think the problem here is that the perception, I think Hindus, modern day Hindus, and I can speak for Hindus in Malaysia, I think most of us feel that the temple, when we give money, it's as if we are just giving to God, or we are giving, it's a transaction.
Yeah.
What you're talking about is, I think in the past, people gave money to temples as an investment into their own community.
Yes, exactly. Perfectly put.
Which doesn't happen now.
It has to happen now. The change should start with us.
No, but, and I think it's so important that maybe another reason why the change hasn't happened is that because people did not know this. If you don't know what a temple was,
exactly,
then you wouldn't know what it can be.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's crazy because the answer to all of our problems, it seems, was already there. It's already been practiced.
Yeah. Already there. So now I'm suggesting not to Malaysian Hindus alone. I'm talking to the whole world, many people. Recently also I gave an idea to people in Trinidad Tobago to help the South Africans. So it was in front of their eyes. They didn't know what to do. So I suggest, okay, we'll talk to them, right? Change the temple to you now they have the temple under the Persatuan. Fine. Start a cooperative next to the Persatuan. Also, it can be in tandem together, parallelly, no problem. The law allows it, right? So the cooperative can take a loan from the temple. It's allowed. And then do it for the people. Number one, in the temple vicinity, instead of building a wedding hall, build the economics university or economic center. Teach economics and finance to our youths. Right? Do it. One example, we make a challenge. Sorry, just to finish it off. Recently, one of your podcasts, Vinodji, you had two people who were talking about temples. I think it was Mr. Tanabalan, two gentlemen,
and Sivanandam.
Sivanandam, right? What they are saying is true. Exactly true. One question I like to ask is that okay, for the whole community to think is, should we listen to politicians or should politicians listen to us?
Of course, politicians listen to us. Huh?
But they don't. Okay? They don't listen to us. And then our problem is we missed the boat in 1957. We missed. Okay? We are not even on the boat. We are swimming behind. Okay? Why is that? Is we have a problem, and if we solve the A, we have a problem, and B, if we solve the problem, C is success. Between A and C, B, there's no mechanism, there's no organization, there's no body. We don't have any data. Without data, we can't solve problems. How many people are uneducated? How many drop out from school? How many? All this data we need. Okay, like the temples also that day, there was temples that are registered, not registered, all these things. That's all data. So the politicians screwed up because they always have to fight for their survival. No, it's about survival of the day for them. Can't blame them. They have to listen to the majority. So we need an organization in the middle that always collects all this data and has solutions and talks to the private people, private body, private organizations. That's why I'm saying I am reviving the Ainu Rover. I'm talking to New York, Trinidad Tobago, Suriname, South Africa, India, Bharat, and everybody, whoever I can, even in Malaysia. I want to revive the Ainu Rover as a supranational body. Not in the country alone. For Hindu diaspora all over the world, we have our own body. So I'm talking to them. I don't know how long it will take to materialize. Then we can have different chapters in different countries. So that now, say the unemployment is a problem here. Maybe you can go and work in Trinidad and Tobago. They have land. They have ample land not worked on. Guyana, Suriname, right? In Australia, in New Zealand, anywhere in the world. So why are our people unemployed and suffering here? Because there's nobody or organization who's saying, okay, you can't find job here, I'll send you to Germany. Just come and learn German language for 6 months. Right.
Wow, I mean, thank you, Guruji. It's been really amazing. And I think we should have definitely more episodes of you on and discussing many topics, enlightening ones. I think definitely this is really sometimes because I've had meetings and discussions recently with people and we're trying to come up with solutions and all that, but the solution was already there.
It's already there.
We don't have to reinvent the wheel, just copy it and there we go, copy it.
That's all.
But we'll definitely have you back on again, and thank you for such an educational, enlightening episode. We have way more coming. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you. Thank you for having me and giving me the opportunity to tell the truth and it's important that our society grows.
Yes, it
becomes better.
It is.
And it can be done in just 10 years.
Yes. Thank you very much. And I hope that too. So guys, thank you for watching. We'll see you all soon again. Bye.